Evening, folks. Right, a nice little project here for you. So, sometime in the future, I want to make a big sideboard come TV multimedia stand. So, this is a scaled down version of what I'm going to be making. So, I learn all the ins and outs, all the little pitfalls, and what I should be doing. So, I'm going to be making this out of pine, and it's going to be some of that 8x1 pine I've got left over that's cut and warped, and it comes back and bites me a little bit during the project. Now, at the end of the video, you'll see the finished item, and if you wouldn't mind commenting and letting me know what I can actually use this for, because it's just one of them projects. I've made it to a size that it's a bit of a difficult one to sort of put a use to at the moment. If it was a big sideboard or something, or big TV stand, multimedia stand, big drinks cabinet, that kind of thing, that would be easy, but just the size of it. So anyway, I'll get straight into it. So this is the 8x1 board, and I'm just cutting out the sort of bits that are split there and that kind of stuff, and just marking it off. And this is warped and bowed, this board, and it just needs using up. I didn't have the art just to sort of discard it. I thought I'd use it for this sort of prototype project. Just take it easy around your saws, anything with spinning blades, just be really, really careful with. And now just some marking out. There's quite a lot of marking out to do here. You can see there from the combination square, you can see the sort of cup in it. Some parts of it are twisted as well. So more marking out on the ends here. I really enjoyed the marking outside of doing these projects. I don't know what it is, but I really enjoy it. So them sections there are going to be cut off. So what I'm looking at doing is sort of like putting sort of a curve onto the ends of this. And then I've got to sort of like, for an opening at the front, I've got to mark out sort of where the opening's going to be here. This is what this marking out section is. And for the legs that are going to sit onto the body and sort of like come right down, you'll see as the video goes on what I'm trying to achieve. So again, just take your time with this. Just always sort of like mark it and then just double check your marks and stuff like that, making sure everything's sort of spot on. Now I'm marking for a little bit of a signature bit that I have on some of my furniture builds. So my initial thoughts with this is I am going to make it out of maybe some oak or maybe some walnut, something along them lines, with some accent pieces with sort of some exotic woods. But I just need to get this right. So here I'm just cutting out some of the pieces, avoiding the centre of the board because it had like splits on it where it had cut. There were splits appearing, and I didn't need them bits anyway, so it was basically just cutting the good bits out of the wood that I could use. So again, just taking it really easy. I am going to get myself a 0 insert plate for there. I hope you like these camera angles that I do with the cutting. Let me know what you think in the comments. So I'm just going to move that over now, just because I want that size as the same as that piece of wood there. And again, I'm just going through really slow, being mindful of where that blade is and where my fingers are. So again, you can see that cup on this board. In my head here, I'm thinking as I'm chopping it down, I'm cutting a lot of that, you know, basically reducing that. But it does bite me a little bit further on up the project. So here's all the bits cut, all the parts cut. And I've got a few spares that I've learned from you guys in the comments when you say, like, cut a few spares. So I want these boards, the way I'm cutting these, I just want them always to be kept in the right orientation. That was why that little triangle was sort of wrote on it. And then I'm just wanting to cut some holes in the top here. My little signature mark that I do put on some of the furniture pieces of the 3 holes. A lot of you will have seen that. So that's what I'm just marking out here. And I'm just going through with a Forstner bit. Now, for whatever reason, if you can see that bit, it's slightly offline. I don't know what happened there. I haven't got a clue, but I'm still cutting it and not realising it's offline. And I sort of realise sort of now that it is. But I'm just going to go with it. It's a prototype piece, and I can refer back to this now. When I've made this item, I can always refer back to it. What's right and what's wrong. Any of you guys got recommendations on good Forstner bits, let me know in the comments also. These Forstner bits are not very good. I've got them from Rutland's a bit back, and they're not the best. But I'd rather just invest in some decent Forstner bits and buy once, cry once sort of thing. So every single bit gets a chamfer, a little slight chamfer. You can see there where them holes are out in this sort of bit of video here. I mean, it doesn't matter too much on this piece, but it really has bugged me a little bit, to be honest. Every bit of the project gets this little chamfer. It's always good to, you know, if you've got a project in hand, just to do, you know, spend a couple of hours knocking up a prototype. It really is beneficial, because this project, although looks simple, it's far from simple. It's quite a difficult and technical project. And that's what you tend to find with most of the simple looking designs. That's what I'm finding. Whether you agree with me or you don't, I don't know, but that's me personally. The more simple it looks, the more sort of technical it is, and there's more work in it. And I think that's where some of the great designers, furniture designers, are absolutely brilliant, because they can execute these builds off perfectly. So, you know, I do tip my hat to these guys that can sort of do that. So just taking it nice and easy now, going around with a router. And now I'm sanding everything. I'm going to a 150 grit on all pieces here. And I'm just sanding over everything, just making sure everything's nice and smooth as it should be. Just make it, you know, getting all the detail right and everything like that. And I'm just laying it out a bit here now, just making sure I've got all the right number of parts in the right orientations, that kind of thing. Counting out, making sure everything's right. I just needed to double check that. More marking on the sides here. And this is where I'm going on about technical bits, like little bits like this. You know, you look at a design and you think it's simple, but it's not. A lot of thought's gone into the designs, and I'm so glad I've made this now, this prototype. So using me little workbench as a, you know, a straight edge sort of thing, just mark it out directly onto my workbench. It's what workbenches are for, aren't they? Getting battered and bruised. I see some guys, they make workbenches and it's like, you know, they're scared to use them. Use your workbench, it's a workbench. That's the beauty of shop furniture, isn't it? Do you guys use your workbench like this? And what I'm doing here, I'm just pre-drilling and countersinking for plugs at the same time. These are going to be on the legs, but this is a part here. What I'm not realising, I've actually got the size wrong, and I'm actually cutting here in the wrong location. So I'm just using this scrap piece of 4x2 just to sort of mock it up, just to get it square, because the top board and the bottom board are sort of floating in between all the sort of slats. So it was I was sort of rattling round in my head which way round I'd done it. I got it done, but as you can see there's a wobble and it's not in the right place. All the slats, I've cut the holes in the right place, but in the legs I've cut them in the totally wrong place. You'll see in a second. So I thought, plan B, put all the slats on first and then do the legs last. You can see there where I cut that hole in the wrong place. How I did that, I have no idea. I don't know. It weren't as though I was rushing. One of my downfalls is I rush too much sometimes, but this time on this project I weren't rushing at all, so I don't know how I did that. And there's a link in the description to all the screws. I get them from the screw shop here in the UK. They have got a website, so if you want to go and get some good quality screws at a good price, go ahead and look at the website, and I'm not paid or sponsored by them in any way. So I'm just using that leg that's cut wrong as a spacer for now, just to get me sort of dimensions right here. And that's why I cut spare pieces, because I messed up a little bit. So I'm just going back here, cutting some more legs. So I'll put this on speed for you, just to show you. It didn't take long to sort of remake them. And again, now I can just put them on now. It's starting to take shape now. I'm starting to like the look of what I'm actually making. There's a lot of screws went into this and a lot of plugs. So I'm just cleaning it up here with sand. I'm just cleaning the bottom of the feet up and putting like a little chamfer round the bottom. So when I do make the original piece, this is one of the steps I'll have to do, because it'll be like a floor standing piece of furniture. And hopefully I'll be making this sideboard, the full version of it, in the new year, maybe January. But this is you know, I can always refer back to this. But I like this piece that much. I'm going to keep it. But it's just, I've got an idea of what I'm going to use it for. But when you see it at the end, just make sure you put in the comments what you'd actually use it for. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you've already not. It would massively help, and you can hit the YouTube notification so you don't miss my videos. And you can join the memberships. There's loads of like videos in the memberships. If you want to go and support the channel that way, you can do. And just tap them plugs on. This was a little bit time consuming, but it's all worth it. These little details make your project stand out from the crowd. People will really appreciate, like, you know, the effort you've gone, like the little chamfers on every little piece, the plugs on every little piece, and you can see it now starting to take shape. So you can imagine that as a big sort of sideboard come multimedia stand, and there's no wobble now, everything's right. So it's this task now of going around cutting all the plugs off, the ends of the plugs, which did take a bit of time, but it's worth it. And everything gets sanded to 180 grit. I must have forgot a plug there, eh? So I'm just getting every single bit of dust off camera. I give it a good wipe over with a tack cloth as well. But I'm just making sure every single bit of dust is off it. Now, the reason I've done this out of pine, obviously it was scrap wood, but I just wanted, you know, like I said, I was going to keep this anyway. And I just wanted, you know, the variation in tones in this pine. And with the Danish oil I put on it to finish it, it gives it that sort of Scandi look, that really nice sort of look, and then the different tones in the wood really do bring it out, and you'll see that in a second. So it gets 2 coats of Danish oil, and in between each coat it gets a rub over with a 500 grit sanding pad. See the different tones coming out in the pine there from this Danish oil, and it dries lighter as well. Just wiping all the excess away. And here's it's finished. What do you think, guys? That was just a scrap bit of pine, basically. And I can sort of visualise now the piece that I am going to make in the new year. And then different variations in the colours of the pine there from the Danish oil. All little slats, all little detail. It looks simple, but it's far from simple, this project. But I really enjoyed it. And it's one of these things I'm definitely going to keep. I might use it for all my camera gear. But let me know in the comments. So, guys, thanks for watching. Let's get on to the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. You're all amazing. And thank you to all the subscribers that have subscribed and watched my videos and enjoy them. You're all amazing. Bye for now.